So, this webinar is 3 days to client ready because we all want happy clients, a thriving business, and more time back in our day, right? So, I am Taryn Rachelle. I am the community and partnerships leader here at Dubsado, but I am also a business owner myself, like you. I started my business as a social media manager, and after 1 year, I moved into offering done for you system builds for the wedding and event industry. With a pivot this year, I am now a keynote speaker, podcast, and event host. Between my experience setting up many Dubsado builds, charging a minimum of $5,000 that help my clients scale their business, take maternity leaves and raise their prices, and so much more, to now speaking on stages in front of hundreds of people, teaching them how you can create a thriving business without sacrificing your time. And this has all been possible because my systems and every process that I've made in between are always ready for me to get booked and paid. And that is what I am here to help you do too, because this is so important, is to be able to build a business that can be thriving. You can still have a personal life, but we are still making money. If we have a business, we want to make money. If we don't want to, then it's just a hobby, and that is totally fine too. But I'm sure many of us want to get paid and we want to still have time back in your day. I am also a mom of two. I am a wife. I am a softball coach. I wear many hats, and I'm able to do so without going into burnout because of systems and because of the fact that I found Dubsado and I have totally engulfed it into my business. Over these 3 days, I'm going to get you client ready because it does not need to take you months to get your first paying client or years to raise your prices. Implementing a clear, strong, streamlined, and on brand process can make your goals happen sooner than you think. And I truly believe it starts with the inquiry, which is what we're covering today, the booking, getting that paid notification on your new Dubsado mobile app, and onboarding. So we are diving right into inquiries. And the very big thing about inquiries is the magic of hello. So your inquiry process is not just your lead capture. Yes, a very strong and intentional lead capture form can help elevate your inquiry process, but that alone is not the process. Your inquiry process includes what happens when your lead comes in contact with you first, how they are able to find more information about your services, how and when they are able to get in touch with you, and most important, how quickly can they go from a lead to a confident paying client? If you're watching this live, I would love to know in the chat how many of you guys want confident paying clients? Not anyone that is hesitating on swiping their credit card or anything like that, or looking at payment plans and still considering their options. Like, who wants to have very confident paying clients when they are going into booking with you? I would love to hear in the chat. I see lots of yeses. I do. That is what many of us want. And it is so achievable, and it is not something that you guys need to wait to have or to feel like this is going to take a long time in your business to do. This can happen very, very, very quickly in your business. And this webinar is perfect for you guys. So I'm going to walk you through two different scenarios to give you an idea of what an inquiry process really is, and that it is not just your lead capture. So this is the more manual way. So a lead messages you on Instagram and they are looking for more information on your services and how you can help them. This person is excited to see if you are the right person to hire. Next, you send them to your website. To make it easier on them, you want to provide them some information in the chat, in the Instagram DMs, and then you send over a link to your website on your services section because they'll get more information that way, right? And the more information, the more confident that they're going to be in buying. Next, they're going to fill out your contact form. They skim through your services and then head to your contact form that is connected to your website and it is not connected to your CRM, or it's a Google form. And I know there are probably some of you watching this, either live or the replay, that are still using Google forms out there. Don't worry, we're going to change your life by taking those away. And then next, you're going to manually review and respond because since these forms are not connected to a CRM, then you have to review them manually, send a follow up email manually, and decide on next steps for them while your leads are waiting. Then last, you're going to manually send them a discovery call. Finally, your lead receives an email to book a discovery call with you, again, in a tool that's not connected to your CRM. But while they were waiting, they were also looking around at others in your industry and also second guessing their decision on if they want to work with you or not, since they had so much time to wait from the minute they were interested until the minute you sent them a discovery call. So let's go into the efficient way of having someone book with you. So a lead can see in your bio where to get information. So when I mean bio, this is on your Instagram page still. And they can see very clearly on there. To give you an example of this, whether you're watching live or the replay, you can head over to my Instagram, which is the Taryn Rachelle. And you will see that I have a clear call to action in my bio right now to join this webinar series. So if someone is going on there and they're wanting to find out more information, hey, I have a free webinar for you right now that's happening, and there's a clear call to action. So Instagram is a very common marketing channel, but to keep it converting, we want to make sure it's clear on how they can take that next step with you to get in contact and to book you. Next is going to be that they find a clear outline of your services and your pricing. When they get to your website, it is so clear about what you do, how you can help them, and your pricing. This leaves no room for guessing and increases the chance of your ideal leads coming in. Guys, there is a big difference on a mass number of leads coming in and your ideal leads coming in. I don't know about you guys, but I would rather have about, 5 to 10 amazing leads that convert to clients than hundreds of leads that come in and there's only maybe one or two of those that are actually the right people for my services or the right speaking engagements for me to speak at. But if you have things very clear and outlined of what your services are, who they're for, and how much they cost, you will attract your ideal leads and your ideal clients. Next, they're going to fill out your CRM lead capture, Dubsado, of course. Now they are ready. Your lead capture is easy to find on your website. And the best part is, once they complete it, their information is going into Dubsado immediately for you. That is the power of using a CRM and one like Dubsado that can be embedded into your website or a form that you can send out to someone so they can fill it out and all of that information goes into Dubsado. But that's just not it there. We don't stop there. We're going to keep this automated for you. Then they're going to get an automated email instantly. They are not waiting to hear back from you or questioning if they hit that submit button or not. I have some serious mom brain, and if I don't get an email or you have just completed this form on my computer, I will sometimes think that I got distracted with my kids or something else going on. And I'm like, did I actually inquire? Did I fill this out? And I will second guess it. And then if I didn't, then I may forget about it or I may fill it out again. So having these automated emails is giving such a great experience to your leads, but it's also keeping you front of mind that they completed this form. So that is going to also give you an alert via email that you have a new lead. Your CRM has sent them an email and you have not had to do it. Now they will know the next steps and when they will hear from you again. Then you're going to click one button in your workflow to send them a discovery call. And since you've downloaded the Dubsado mobile app, you'll get a notification on your Apple Watch or your phone saying a new lead has come in. You head into the app on your phone, review the lead, and send next steps in seconds, not hours. So let's compare the two of these. We have the manual way. With adding in more steps you need to do manually, you are going to leave your leads waiting. When someone is coming to you, they are warm and sometimes a hot lead. One of the biggest misconceptions with leads is that you need to continue to educate and provide so much information before you get them to the next step to book quickly. Leads are sometimes more ready than you actually think they are. And then there is the efficient way. When automating as much of your inquiry process as possible, your leads are waiting as little as possible. By shortening their wait time, you can book clients faster. This does not bring down your client experience, it actually elevates it. You can still provide education and knowledge around your services quickly. And an efficient, detailed, and still personalized experience is actually what most clients want. So if you're watching this live, I want you to put in the chat if you would like the manual way or efficient way. So if you want to do things the manual way, put a 1. If you want things the efficient way, put a 2. And if you're catching the replay of this, just write this down of which one you want. So then as we go through this webinar, we can see if your process is actually going to be doing this or if it's doing this right now. So everyone watching this live, I see 2s flying. Everyone wants this the efficient way. I doubt many of you guys want to be doing things as manually as possible. We want to save time. That's why a lot of us use system tools. We want to save time in our day, but we also want very, very, very happy clients. And that starts with a very, very, very happy lead. So did you guys know that they say it only takes 7 seconds for someone to make their first impression about you? What impression is your inquiry process making right now? Is it giving that I have to wait time frame? Is it giving them the, oh gosh, like, I now have all this time to go look at other people, and now I'm kind of second guessing if I should work with Taryn or not, because now I've looked at 20 other people on Instagram in the time it took me to get an email back from her? Or am I able to get in contact with her quickly and know everything about what's going on and think, okay, yes, this is a person I want to work with because of how efficient they are in their business? So, key ways to make a long lasting first impression on your leads and one that converts. I am all about conversions and getting those leads to paying clients, guys. This is going to be an ongoing message throughout this entire webinar because we want all of our leads, as many as possible, to become converting into paying clients. I want to tell you guys before I move to Dubsado, these are real percentages, real facts. I had a 65% conversion rate. That meant 65% of my leads were converting into paying clients. Once I moved to Dubsado, and not just moved there and just had the system tool, no, I actually was working in it. I got my system set up. I got my workflow set up. I really figured out what my ideal process was going to look like. And I made that happen in the system tool. And I kept elevating it. My percentage went from a 65% to a 95%. 95% of my leads were then converting into paying clients. And I was still one of the highest price points in Dubsado builds. And I still had clients that would say, I was still coming to you, even though you were more expensive because of the experience that I was providing. And it all started with the level of care I gave my leads, because those are the people that turned into paying clients. So I wanted to give you guys the actual statistic of what I've done in my business to show you that it is possible. And these are some ways that I made it happen. So first is going to be to not gatekeep your pricing or your knowledge. This is going to be kind of like a hot topic because some people don't like to share their pricing. I have a belief that it's not necessarily like personal preference on doing it or not. I strongly believe that we should be authentically, transparent in what we offer, and we should be proud of our pricing. We should not be scared of our pricing. If you are scared of the number that you are telling people, it's usually because you do not believe in the value of what you are delivering, in those deliverables that you're giving to someone. So if you aren't sure, how do we expect our leads to be sure? So if you have that feeling, I want you to look at what you're delivering and really journal down why you're feeling that way. And if that means you need to adjust your pricing, that's fine. But maybe you just need to believe in what you are delivering and believe that it is what people need out there. It is what your clients have had success with. it is what your community is asking for, and believe in that. So then your leads will believe in you, and then you won't need to gatekeep anymore. Because building trust is one of the easiest ways to have a lead choose to work with you over anyone else. Sometimes you may feel like sharing your prices too early will scare people off, or sharing your expertise will give away knowledge for free. But it is how you share both that makes all the difference, all while building trust. I am very big on education. That's why I love doing webinars like this. And I do not believe that doing this is going to take away from what I charge. This is how I can educate. And my biggest thing is I want to make as many people have businesses that are thriving without sacrificing their time. And part of that goes into the education that I can put out there that I truly believe in. So it's all about how you share both and put things out there that is going to make the difference and you not feeling like you need to gatekeep anymore. Next is going to be that a confused mind rarely converts. If you have been in my community for a while, this is one of my favorite things to say because it is so true. If I Let me know in the chat if you are the same way if you're watching this live. If you go on a website and it is confusing to check out, maybe you love to shop, online shop, and it's confusing to check out, or maybe it feels a little sketchy. You're like, is this real? Like, am I actually going to get what I order? Um, how many of you leave? Let me know in the chat. How many of you guys will leave and you will not convert because you are confused at the process of checking out? You're confused on if this is going to be something right for me, if you're confused on if this is actually going to make it to me. I will I will leave in a heartbeat. That's what someone says. I'll leave. I will be gone. I have too much going on. Like I said, I have two kids. So if I can't get things quickly, then you've lost me. That's why I'm an Amazon girly. Like I want things quickly. And so that's how a lot of people are. They want things quick. They don't want things confusing. And so we want to make sure that there isn't that confusion along the way because this will cause your leads to not have trust in you. But no person is perfect. No system is perfect, but making sure that there's little room for error or confusion in your inquiry process is so important. So my advice is to always make sure you are reviewing, auditing, and refining your process. This is really big because a lot of people will go through using any kind of system tool, whether it's a CRM like Dubsado, using a project management tool, or Zapier for more automations. And they will blame the system tool for something not working. But I always ask people when I used to do a lot of audits, and I was like, when was the last time that you ran yourself through this process? And they're like, I haven't. Or when I set it up 3 years ago. And we need to remember that system tools do have errors. Nothing is perfect. We have errors. We make mistakes, and that is okay. But it is all about what you do to minimize those errors and those mistakes, especially so your leads aren't the ones that are finding these errors. If we're setting up this process and then they're like, hey, this isn't working, or I tried to click this button and the link's broken, it's kind of embarrassing on our part. And we don't want to provide that level of experience. And so you always want to put yourself through this process and audit it and refine it, especially when you go into raising your prices. Elevating your client experience is one of the best ways to increase your pricing. I did a webinar all about raising your pricing, which is on Dubsado's YouTube channel. So definitely check that out because I talk a lot about that on there. Next is going to be personal and authentic. People buy from people. People want to do business with people they like and resonate with. So take time to show your true personality and your values. Share personal stories and real experiences that show who you are and what you stand for. This will help your leads connect with you on a deeper level and establish a relationship that's built to last. So this is where a lot of people don't like automations because they feel like they aren't personal. They feel like they sound robotic and they don't want to utilize them. But that is not the case. There is so much personality that you can throw into your automations where it's not going to feel like a robot. But at the end of the day, most people just want to get what they signed up for. Most people just want to get what they paid for. I'm not sitting over here ordering something on Amazon. I'm like, well, I really hope just one person is just like packaging this and like writing a handwritten letter and like taking 2 hours to put the tape on. Like, I'm like, no, that's not the point of getting Amazon. Like, I want it fast. Like, I know it's like mass production and like all these different things. But if I want something that I know is going to be like handcrafted and taking a lot of time and all these different things, I'm going to go somewhere else, but I'm going to understand it's going to take longer. But it doesn't, if it takes longer, it doesn't always mean that it lacks the value or anything like that, or that it's going to take too much time. But it is important to figure out what areas of your business you want to spend the most time on, or that you want to take the longest, because you need to also remember the other person on the other end of the computer, or the other person that is booking this discovery call with you or booking the service with you. Do they want this to be a fast service? Do they want something that's going to be a longer process? That's where you need to really understand your ideal leads and your ideal clients for you to be able to like really, really, really figure out what is going to elevate this experience for your leads and your clients. So, next is going to be to showcase uniqueness. What is that secret sauce? Highlight what sets you apart from the rest. What makes working with you special? Do you get compliments on your client experience, or maybe you have a super personalized approach? Share these things and let it shine through in every interaction with your leads. This way, you'll stand out and leave a memorable impression. What part of your process do you get complimented on a lot? For me, it was always my client gifts. A lot of people will do client gifts where they will brand it towards their brand. So, like my brand. I worked with other businesses. So, my client gifts, I always made sure that they were tailored towards that person's brand. So, part of our process was we always received all of our clients' branding because we were building out their Dubsado. And we got all their branding. So we would go through and we used BoxFox for all of our client gifts. And we would build these BoxFox, say that 10 times fast, BoxFox gifts. And we would build those out based off of their branding because I want them to use it. They may not love the color orange. They may not love, peace signs like I do. And so I will look at what their brand is and I custom tailored it to their brand. Every single one of my clients has shared their client gift with me, like on their Instagram. They're always sharing them out because I custom tailored it to them. And that's something that I made very clear in my emails when I was sending out proposals to get people excited to book with me. And then we're going to show the value right from the beginning. By offering something of value up front, you'll establish yourself as an expert in your industry and show that you are genuinely care about your client's success. They should be sold before they ever get a proposal from you. The value is what your leads get from working with you as a transformation and not just the deliverable. So make sure it's clear and about them, not you. I was at a work summit a few months ago, and there was a girl that was talking about how, she felt like her messaging wasn't clear about her website designs. And so they were trying to pull out some information of like past clients she worked with. And they're like, okay, what has happened with your past clients? She's like, well, after I did her website design, a few of my clients have, 3x their business. And we were all like, whoa, like that, like, how many of you guys saw that on a sales page or on a website? Like my past website builds have 3x my clients' businesses. I'd be like, thank you. Yes, like sign me up. As opposed to just like, I build beautiful websites. It's like, okay, that's great. I want it to be beautiful, but I also want it to be converting and I also want it to grow my business. So you want to show the value. You want to show them what the transformation is going to be and not just the deliverable to your leads, and then make sure it is about them. It isn't about us. That is when people feel like they're just dollar signs, that they are just another notification that you just got paid. that is a paying person, that is someone that has worked hard for that money, and we want to make sure that they feel that way. And of course, guys, I'm going to show you how to make this happen using some great features in Dubsado. And if you guys are sending in questions live right now in the chat, don't worry, there's going to be some time at the end for Q&A that will answer any questions from this training today. So don't worry, I'm going to look back in the chat and check on those. So, are you guys using lead captures? So, I see you over there using those contact forms on your website or Google Forms. I'm sorry if I'm calling you out, but I am. It is time to remove these from your process as they add more manual work for you to do. Lead capture forms are one of the best features in Dubsado because it is usually the first step in a process for someone to become a paying client. You can share these via a link or you can embed them on your website. And now with the Dubsado mobile app, you can receive notifications when a new lead fills out your form. So you will see that it comes through here on your Apple Watch. You'll get a notification on your phone. It is one of push notifications are one of my favorite things about the mobile app because I love seeing when a new lead comes in. I love seeing when someone has paid their invoice and someone is ready to have me speak to their community or someone is ready to sponsor one of my events. I get so excited because my business is growing and it's not just growing, it's doing things for me in the back end while I'm taking my kids to their first day of school today. It's happening while I'm on the softball field coaching my daughter. And I'm able to do these things. I'm able to have these things happen while I'm scaling my business, while I'm growing the launch of my podcast season. Like these things are happening in the back end so I can still scale my business, so I can still be present in my family's life. And you can find these lead capture forms in templates in Dubsado. Then you're going to go to forms and then you're going to go to lead captures. Next is going to be project sources. So, why do these matter? This can significantly help where and how you market to bring your leads in. If you are putting a lot of work into getting leads from one marketing channel, but you are not seeing leads come through, something may need to change. This also can help you audit how easy it is for your leads to get in contact with you in certain areas. If you have zero leads from your website, you should probably go through your inquiry process on your website as a lead and see if it's confusing or worse, it's giving them errors. So, project sources is when someone's filling out your lead capture form, you can put in there, how did you find me? And this is going to populate into Dubsado so you can see where all of your leads are coming from. And this just really impacts the way that you market. If you're spending so much time on Instagram, but you're not seeing the return of your investment of your time and sometimes money if you're paying someone to help you with your social media because you're not seeing any leads come in, then there's something that needs to get audited and refined and elevated there. And then, especially if you're getting zero leads in somewhere that you do have something set up for your inquiry process, we need to walk through that as a lead and make sure that there's nothing happening that's stopping someone from booking. It could be as easy as they can't see the submit button for some reason because the way it's formatted on your website, but you have no idea and people are busy and they just maybe don't have time to reach out and let you know. And so you need to go through that process yourself. You'll find these in reporting and then in project sources. And then when you go to set up your form, you'll see an area there for an element to put into your forms to gather this information. Next is going to be the workflow elements. So you may know or you may not know that you can have your lead captures trigger one default workflow that starts a workflow when all leads fill that form out. So if you have a inquiry form, a lead capture, and you just want a general inquiry workflow that is just for any leads that come in, then you can use a default workflow and have it go to everyone that fills that form out. But you can also give an even tailored experience for your leads and use the workflow element within your lead capture. This allows different workflows to trigger based on a service that they are interested in, or in this scenario, payment plan preferences. So this is taking it like a little step further of using payment plan preferences, but I know there's some seasoned Dubsado users on here, so I wanted to put this little nugget of information in. But a lot of times you will see people use, and I use it a lot this way, is for services. So, say you have multiple different services. Maybe you are a photo booth company and you have a virtual photo booth, a glam photo booth, and a retro photo booth. And so you want workflows for inquiry set up for all three of those. So then, if someone is interested in your glam photo booth, the email that they get when that workflow is triggered says, "Hey, I'm so excited that you're interested in our glam photo booth. This photo booth starts at X amount of money. I'm reviewing your inquiry and I will be in touch shortly." That is so custom tailored to that person. And they just got more information specific to that service than just saying, "Hey, received your inquiry, be in touch in 24 to 48 hours." While that's okay and they're still getting that automated email, why not taking it a step further? Because that's going to capture that person's attention even more. And you're going to be front of mind for them. And they're going to be like, "Wow, this level experience that I'm getting is so great. And all I've done is filled out this girl's lead capture form or this guy's lead capture form." Like, that's all I've done so far, and I feel so taken care of. This scenario, the payment plan preference, is what I personally use right now for my retreat. So I let people pick what payment plan they're interested in my application. And then I let them choose which one. And then this is going to trigger specific workflows. I do this way because I want to also remind people that are interested in the payment plan option and not pay in full, that if they do choose to pay in full, they do save $200. So I let them know that in those emails just as a reminder, because I actually have had people not realize that. Like, they just saw pay in full and they're like, "No, I'll do a payment plan," but they didn't see that save $200. And I've had someone pay in full because of getting that reminder in the email, which they wouldn't have received if I just did a generic, we received your inquiry email. So there's so many ways you can use this workflow element feature, and it really elevates the experience for your leads. Next is going to be canned emails. So when you start these workflows automatically, your leads should be getting an automated email, everyone. Yes, I know we want them to show your personality and not sound like a robot, but that is the beauty of using Dubsado. Your emails can show your brand's voice, personality, and look by the way you create your emails. For me, I want everything to be on brand by colors and, of course, gifts. I'm sure you guys can tell I love branding. I mean, I unintentionally, but probably subconsciously wore my one of my brand colors. But that's just like how I am. Like, I love everything to be on brand. My water bottle is one of my brand colors. This webinar is in my brand colors. And I obviously want my automated emails to be that way. And I love a good gift. You will get emails from me with them, messages on Instagram. That was one of the things that I fell in love with Dubsado about, is when you message in on their chat. Everyone at Dubsado loves gifts. And so when I was getting those back from the Dubsado team, I was like, I have found my people because I love these. Plus, you can even use links and buttons to give your leads more information that are in your brand colors while you're reviewing their inquiry. So you will see here in this example, this is an automated email when someone inquires to have me speak to their community. Obviously, a little gif of a girl dancing. Let them know that I'll be in touch. And then reminder of my current speaking rates and topics is a little button down there with a link to my speaking page. So then they can go on there and look at things and be refreshed of my pricing and topics. And then next is going to be custom fields. So for those of you wanting emails and forms to be as personalized as possible, custom fields are going to be your new best friend. You can set up custom fields for short answer or date response questions. These answers can then be populated into forms and emails. They are similar to smart fields that are already created for clients' names, emails, etc. But with custom fields, you can make this as personalized as you want, especially for non-robotic sounding emails. So this is an example here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know it's a little small, but in this form, I am asking a question of what topic would you like me to speak on for someone inquiring to have me guest speak to their community. They will fill this out, and then when you see where it says field mapping, it's going to map to customs or to guest speaking topic. Then in the automated email that would go out, I have a section in the email that says like, I see that you would like me to speak on, and then I use the smart field for that custom mapped field of the guest speaking topic. So then when they get this email, what they wrote in there, since it is required, is going to be in that area there. So it's going to auto populate. So they're like, yes, okay, she got my inquiry. She sees what I want her to speak on, and it's already in there and it's super personalized to that person. So you can find these in settings and then custom map fields. And again, you can set them up using short response or date selects. And then when you go into your form, you just need to make sure when you use those fields, you go to field mapping and you map it to the correct location. So then that information is going into the right section. It isn't auto populating somewhere else, or worse, not auto populating at all. Because if you don't map it and this email sent out, it would say, I see you want me to speak on, and it'd just be empty. So you want to make sure that it's mapped. And again, this is where testing out your process to see what your leads see before they see it is super important. But I want to remind you guys to make sure you have a process and an intention behind using any of these Dubsado features or any features in general. We always want to make sure there's a process. We always want to make sure that there is something behind why we are using this feature. Are we just using it just to use it? Is it serving a purpose? Where does it fit in our client experience journey? Like what is the purpose behind this? We want to make sure that there's intention behind everything we're doing. I want to leave you with this. I am all about tangible steps. So here are next steps I want you to take to dial in your inquiry process. I want you to write out your ideal journey you want your leads to take when they come in contact with you. I want you to audit your current process and see if it aligns with your ideal process. If not, we need to refine it. So you're going to make two lists. If you already have an inquiry process, you're going to make one of what your ideal journey looks like for your leads. And then you're going to write out exactly what's happening with your leads and then look at them. And if you're like, whoa, what I'm doing right now is not at all what I want my leads to be experiencing, then we need to fix that. See how many manual steps you are doing and if any of these steps can now be automated. Look into the Dubsado features I mentioned in this webinar and see if they make sense for your process, but I bet most of them, if not all of them, will, and then set them up. Once you have your new process, set it up, put yourself through it as if you were a lead, and look for any errors or changes that need to be made. That way you catch them and not your lead. And remember, you can have an inquiry process that you want to provide to your clients. Setting up your process should not take you weeks or months. Give yourself a day, focus on just the process, and always remember to test. But once you do, your leads, your business, and the income you make from happy clients are going to thank you. And then you're going to be getting those you just got paid notifications on your Apple Watch or your phone because you've downloaded the mobile app, and you are going to be so excited getting those notifications. So I want to thank you guys so much for being here live. I'm going to see if I can answer some questions in the chat in a second, but I want to remind you, for anyone that is watching this live, Trevor, if he hasn't already, will be dropping the link to our office hours. So this webinar, we're doing something a little different and exciting, and we are having office hours at 11:15 Pacific Standard Time. So in about like a little over 30 minutes, you guys have time to get a drink of water and everything like that. And so we are going to have office hours that you can review, and you can go back and ask Trevor any questions that you have that are specific to the inquiry process, that are related to Dubsado. He is our education specialist and a great person to ask your questions. I'm going to answer questions about this webinar specifically, but anything that's more like Dubsado logistical questions, go to office hours. They happen today, tomorrow, and Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with Trevor, our education specialist that was here at the beginning of the webinar. So I'm going to go over and see any questions you guys may have. Let me know if you guys enjoy the webinar. I would love to hear it. I would love to know any big takeaways you guys had. That would be great to hear. Let me go through, get some water while I'm going.
Yeah, fantastic job there, Taryn. I can help you read off these questions in the Q&A.
Oh, thank you.
Give me 1 second. I'm just going to go ahead and grab that Zoom link for those that want to attend office hours. So give me 1 second.
Awesome.
I grabbed the Zoom invitation, but it was that gigantic block of like all.
Oh yeah, with all the information.
That might be a little bit annoying for folks to sift through. So I'm just trying to grab the just the actual URL. So give me 1 second here, folks. There we go. That should be it. Cool. Okay, so I just sent it here in send. I just went ahead and sent it. Put it in the Q&A. That's my fault. There we go. Now I have it in the chat. Perfect. So those of you that would like to attend office hours, as Taryn mentioned, at 11:15, we're going to go ahead and just open up the Zoom room. Anybody who's here in the chat can go ahead and join. I will be there to answer questions. I can share my screen to show you all stuff in Dubsado if you have more specific questions. It's going to be fantastic. So hopefully this webinar was a really good primer to get you going. But like I said, we know that there are folks, someone had just mentioned in the chat as well, that they wanted a bit more hands-on approach. I'm not going to be able to take too much time with each individual person to go through their specific whole process, but I can definitely answer some specific questions with you. And it might be something that you yourself are wondering. If you want to attend and watch other folks ask questions, totally fine. Anyhow, like we said, that was the office hours portion. Taryn, if you're ready, I can start reading you off some of these questions from the Q&A. I think we answered some of these, but let's just go ahead and go through it.
Yeah.
So Tina, a little while ago, mentioned that she does not have a website, but she does use Facebook. And so she was wondering how this kind of process fits into her world, right? With not having a website. What would you recommend for her?
Yeah, that is a great question. So I didn't have a website for a very long time in my business. And so that is why I fell in love with using Dubsado, is because you can share a link to your lead capture and you don't have to have it embedded on your website. You can share a link, and when you share a link, you can actually design a form to look very much like your brand. You can put in an image in there, do so many things to make it look more website-y, and not something that you would embed on your website. So when you're embedding it on your website, I always say like little to no design, because you just want it to be the form. Your website already has design on it. But if you aren't embedding it, like in your scenario, then you can add so much design to it to be able to share it to people, and to be able to have it look like your brand. Our new form builder really allows you to have colors on there and in full width containers to have it look amazing. We have some amazing new templates launching some point soon in the future, that are going to have some amazing templates in our template library. But if you guys didn't know this, because a lot of people are saying on Facebook that they didn't know this existed, if you go to forms in your Dubsado account and then go to the template library up top on the right, you'll see a bunch of forms there that are free for you guys to use in your business. So definitely check those out. And there's some examples there for some lead captures.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Cool. All right. Maricela had asked a couple of questions about the actual default contact form on her website. And I think you did go over this already a little bit, but she was saying that she gets folks that message her through that actual default contact form instead of her lead capture form. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Taryn, but I believe most web builders will allow you to disable that feature. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend, if you are using Dubsado or any other CRM, but we hope you're using Dubsado, that you embed your CRM's contact form, your lead capture on your website, and disable the one from your website, because the ones on your website usually get lost or forgotten. And we don't want that to happen. And there's usually not much automation that can happen once they inquire on there. So I had that issue for a while. Like I didn't realize that there were some people in there, and I was like, oh gosh, like that's embarrassing. Like I'm not getting back to these people. And so definitely disable it. Contact the support of whoever is your website provider, and see how you can disable it, or go to my secret tool, YouTube. I love finding some information on there on how you can disconnect it, and then go from there and then embed your Dubsado lead capture form on there.
Fantastic. Cool. I'm actually going to go ahead and stop your screen share real quick. That way, while we're
Oh, perfect.
While we're talking here, we can folks can see us a little bit better. There we go. Perfect. Okay, cool. A couple more questions here. So Kristen was asking if there is a way to automate a discovery call with Dubsado. And that could be definitely part of a larger conversation. But Kristen, to answer your question, there definitely is a way you can automate that discovery call using a workflow, coming off of a lead capture form, starting a workflow, going in straight into a discovery call booking phase. Taryn, did you have anything you wanted to add to that or some more information?
Yeah, so it really kind of depends on what you want that process to be. So for me, I am not a discovery call girly. I like to get on as little calls as possible. So I actually started to call them vibe checks in my business because I just want to make sure we vibe together. And it was really just for my higher ticketed services that I did vibe checks on. Anything lower ticket, I just let people book automatically. But if you have a process where you want to get on calls with everyone, instead of that initial inquiry email, just saying like, we've received your inquiry and things like that, that inquiry email could send a scheduler right away via workflows, like Trevor said. So right when they inquire, they can schedule that discovery call. Another thing you can also do is if you want to just have your discovery call scheduler embedded on your website or a link to your discovery call, you can have your discovery call go first, and then you can actually attach a form to calls in Dubsado. So then you can attach your lead capture form to the discovery call. So the process would be they select their date, they fill out the lead capture form, it's booked, you already have their information. That's a process too. But again, yeah, definitely come to office hours if you need to like see this more like visually and stuff, but that's a great way to utilize that.
Definitely. Yeah, 100%. I definitely agree with that. We can definitely, like you said, Taryn, go over that in office hours. We can just show you the basic setup of that, but that's a really, really common thing that a lot of users do in Dubsado.
Yeah.
Cool. Danielle asked, and I know you did talk about this too, but this is something that actually I learned just by working with you, Taryn, was that like I didn't have this perspective as just someone who works at Dubsado, but as a business owner, I think this is something that's worth going over again. But Danielle also asked if you could, or she was asking essentially, do you suggest posting that 5-figure pricing if that's what you think your business, your services are worth? I think maybe we should just review that one more time since it was right at the beginning. But really, I think that was a cool idea that if you're just, your services, you feel like you're valued at 5 figures, then you shouldn't feel ashamed about posting those. But what was
So her question is like, should she be sharing her pricing if it is a higher price point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I don't care what, for me personally, and other people watching live, feel free to put in the chat if you feel the same way. But if you are going to invest in something, if I'm going to invest in something, I want to know how much it is. I don't want any question about it. Like I want to know how much I'm spending. And then that way I can make an educated decision based off of that. And so for anyone that's like, I don't feel comfortable sharing my pricing, you really need to like audit yourself and be like, why do I feel this way? Like, why do I feel like I am not, I don't feel confident in my pricing. And so you really want to figure out the reasoning behind that instead of being like, well, I'm just not going to share it. Because people want authenticity, especially right now. I feel like after everything we've gone through in the last 4 years, like people want that authenticness when they're working with businesses. They are very careful on the money they spend and where they're spending it. And so they want to make a just, decision. And so I would definitely say to share your pricing. I am not one that likes to gatekeep my pricing. I never have. And I really think that you're going to get a lot more people that are going to feel really good about working with you if you're getting that trust with them from the very beginning.
Fantastic. Cool. Julie was asking a pretty straightforward question. Can you have more than one lead capture form or for embedding on your websites and then one that's more of a design link? The question is essentially, can you have more than one? And the answer, Julie, is that you definitely can if you are on the Premier plan. Starter plans in Dubsado can only have one active lead capture form at a time. You can certainly have more than one form, but you'll be able to toggle which one is active at a time if you have a starter plan. If you're on a Premier plan, you can have as many lead capture forms active out in the wild as you like at a time. And likewise, Jennifer was asking if the workflows and automations are only available for the paid plan. So really good question as well there. our workflows are a premier feature. So if you're on a trial of Dubsado, you'll have access to all the bells and whistles so you can get an idea of all the features that Dubsado has. So you can use those automations during your trial. But then if you're going to go ahead and subscribe, you will need to be subscribed to the premier plan to have access to those workflows going forward. Cool. All right. Taryn, do you want to link your website if you have one? Hannah was asking if you have a website just to check out aside from your Instagram, or do you primarily just use your Instagram?
I primarily use my Instagram. My website is actually getting a facelift right now. So there's like a little link in bio thing on there right now. But primarily I'm over on Instagram. My Instagram is the Taryn Rachelle. I'm on there. I'm also on Threads a lot. I love me some Threads. So you can definitely check me out over there.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. And I'm kind of scanning through here the rest of these questions. I believe that's most of the ones that we can get through here on the actual webinar itself. Let me read this last one real quick. Sorry. Yeah, okay. I think the rest of these questions are going to be better suited for the office hours. So folks, if you still have some questions that we didn't quite get to here in the actual chat of this webinar, please, by all means, I'll go ahead and post the Zoom link one more time in case you missed it. It's just up there in the chat. You scroll a little ways as well. 11:15, so just about 20 minutes here. Well, I'll be jumping back into Zoom to answer some more questions in the Zoom link in the office hours.
But yeah, Taryn, and then anyone that has questions on the pricing, I've seen some comments in there about pricing and feeling confident in that. Definitely check out my webinar on raising your prices, because I talk a lot about the mindset of pricing, because it was going in tangent with the new feature we have of surcharging. And so definitely check that out, because I think that will help you a lot to feel good about your pricing strategies.
Definitely. I can try and find that webinar real quick and throw it in the chat. If you're curious, give me 1 second.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much. While he's finding that, thank you so much for joining. If you watch this live or you're catching the replay, if you're catching the replay on YouTube, definitely let us know in the comments there how you enjoyed it, any big takeaways. I'm excited for you guys joining live to go into office hours. And then tomorrow we're going to be chatting about proposals. And then the final day is about onboarding. So I am very excited. These are 3 of the big parts of business that I love to talk about. So I am super excited for this. And I'm so glad that many of you joined here live. I really appreciate it.
What? I'm having a hard time finding it, but yes.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, we can grab it we can put it in office hours, or I'll make sure you guys have it tomorrow. I'll put it in the chat tomorrow.
Cool. Taryn, thank you very much. That was fantastic. I hope everybody here got a ton of value out of this, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a fantastic 3-day extravaganza. So folks, make sure you tune back in tomorrow and we'll get right back to it. All right. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you guys.